and you come up with something like this. I suggest to you that if you want to be innovative, you need 2 or 3 words to describe your innovation, such as Wendy's. Wendy's mantra should be healthy, fast food. That's what that company stands for. The mantra of Nike is not just do it. Just do it is their slogan. Nike's mantra is authentic athletic performance. FedEx is about peace of mind when you absolutely, positively want something, someplace. And the final example is eBay, where you democratize commerce. 4 examples using 2 or 3 words. Make a mantra for your innovation. Why should your product, your service, your organization exist? 2 or 3 words. The next thing is to jump to the next curve. It is about perspective. Great innovation occurs when you jump to the next curve, not when you do things 10 or 15% better, but when you do things 10 times better. Here's an example. There used to be an ice harvesting industry in the United States. In the 1900s, early 1900s, people would go out to frozen lakes and ponds and cut blocks of ice. 9 million pounds of ice was harvested in 1900. Approximately 30 years later, there was Ice 2.0. Ice 2.0 was the ice factory. Now you froze water in any city, any time of year. Imagine the advantage of that. Now you did not have to live in a cold city, and it did not have to be a cold season. You could have an ice factory in Doha if you wanted. Ice 3.0 was the refrigerator curve. Now, you didn't have to have the iceman deliver ice to your house. You didn't have to go buy ice from the ice factory. You had your personal ice factory. You had a refrigerator. The very interesting thing about these curves of innovation is that not one of the ice harvesters became ice factories, and none of the ice factories became refrigerator companies, because most companies define themselves in terms of what they do as opposed to what benefit they provide. If you're in the business of harvesting ice during the winter in a cold city, all you can think about is bigger horse, bigger sleigh, bigger saw. If you're in the business of an ice factory, all you can think of is freezing water centrally and delivering it to your customer. If you're in the refrigerator business, all you think about is building a box that freezes water. Most companies don't get to the next curve. If you truly want to be innovative, you need to get to the next curve. Do not be content with doing things 10 or 15% better than the status quo. Get to the next curve. The next thing is a 4-letter description of what defines great products and great service. I call it DICE, D-I-C-E. The D in DICE stands for depth. Great products, great services have lots of depth. They do lots of things. They have lots of functionality. Here is an example. This is a sandal. And this sandal is made by Reef. And you see this area here? That's a little metal clip. This sandal has twice the depth of any other sandal in the world, because this sandal not only protects your feet, it also opens up bottles. It's a deep sandal. Intelligent. Great products are also intelligent. When you look at them, you understand the company was thinking. The company understood my pain. They understood the opportunity in solving my pain. I have 4 children. They are 6, 9, 15, and 17. The 17-year-old has a license to drive. The 15-year-old is in the permit process. I want to buy this car. This is a Ford Mustang GT 500, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, 550 horsepower. This is a really fast car. But I know that if I buy this Mustang, inevitably, there will be a situation where one of my 2 teenage boys is going to have to drive it. And the thought of my teenage boys driving a car with 550 horsepower in society is irresponsible, because it is so powerful and so fast. But I learned that Ford has made a very intelligent product. The product is called My Key. And what it enables you to do is program the top speed of the car into the key. So I could loan my kids the key with the car. They could go no faster than 55 miles per hour. Very intelligent product. It doesn't control how fast you get to 55, but it controls that you cannot go over 55. Very intelligent product. Great products and services are also complete, like when you buy a Lexus. A lot of service comes with a car. You know, with great software, it's not just the software, it's the string of enhancements, it's the online support, it's the online documentation, it's the totality of the software, not simply the software, not simply the digital download. It's the totality of the experience. And the last E is elegance. Great products are beautiful. They're thin. Someone has cared about the user interface. So as you try to jump curves, as you go from ICE 1.0 to ICE 2.0 to ICE 3.0, from IT 1.0 to IT 2.0 to IT 3.0, ask yourself, are you creating something that's deep, intelligent, complete, and elegant? Are you rolling the dice? The fifth thing, stolen from a song by Bobby McFerrin. He's saying, don't worry, be happy. My advice to you, if you want to innovate, is that when you have something that has jumped curves, that is 10 times better, not simply 10% better, do not wait for perfection. Do not try to make your product or service perfect. Ship it. You know, the first Macintosh, which this is a little cartoon of, the first Macintosh, thanks to my efforts, had no software. It had only 128K of RAM. It had no hard disk. It had no color. It had no large monitor. It had no slots. It had no fast networking. It was a piece of junk, but it was a revolutionary piece of junk. It was so much better than MS-DOS. It was so much better than the Apple II. If we had waited for the perfect world where chips were cheap enough and fast enough, we would have never shipped the Macintosh. I'm not saying that you should ship junk. I'm just saying that you should ship great products and great services with elements of junkiness to it. It's a huge difference. Don't worry, be happy. The way it works in Silicon Valley is we ship and then we test. Okay? If you're in biotech, do not listen to this. But if you're in IT, listen to this. Ship and then test. The next point is to let 100 flowers blossom. This is stolen from Chairman Mao, although, to tell you the truth, I don't see how he ever actually implemented this. Letting 100 flowers blossom means that when you ship an innovative product or service, when you are 10 times better, you may notice a very interesting thing, which is that the people that you designed your product for are not buying it. And the uses of your product that you intended are not being done. Very interesting case. So you ship this computer, you thought it's for spreadsheet, database, and word processing, and you find out that no Fortune 500 CIO likes it and blesses it. So Fortune 500 companies are not buying your computer, and for sure they're not using it for spreadsheet, database, and word processing. Instead, you find out that people who are print shops, people who are writers and publishers, they're buying your Macintosh. They're not using it for word processing, spreadsheet, or database, however. They're using it for desktop publishing. And the lesson that I learned is that you should not be proud. Take your best shot at marketing and positioning and branding your product and service. But then put it into the market. And the market will tell you what it thinks it should do. You may think you have a word processor, spreadsheet, and database machine. The market told us we had a desktop publishing machine. There was a product called Aldous PageMaker that created the market of desktop publishing. And desktop publishing saved Apple. If it was not for desktop publishing, Apple would not be here today. And we would all have phones with real keypads. We would have phones with batteries that lasted for more than a day. It would be a different world. Aldous PageMaker was a gift from God to Apple Computer. I believe in God, and one of the reasons why I believe in God is there is no other explanation for Apple's continued survival than the existence of God. The point here is let 100 flowers blossom. Take your best shot at creating a dicey product. Take your best shot at marketing and positioning and branding it. But then put it out there and see how people embrace it. Let 100 flowers blossom. The next thing is to be willing to polarize people. If you have a great product or service, some people will love it and some people will hate it. That's okay. Many entrepreneurs believe that they're trying to create this perfect product that everybody loves. And when you try to do that, inevitably you create something that's mediocre. In America, we have this service called TiVo, where you can record television shows. You can time shift your TV shows. So right now, I've been away from home for a week, and I've been recording all these TV shows that I want to watch when I go home, like, I don't know, Hawaii Five-0. And so there are people like me who have TiVos and PVRs who love them, because it enables me to watch all the shows that I've missed. There are also people who hate TiVos. People, for example, that are in the advertising business or large brands, because large brands engage advertising agencies to create multi-million-dollar ads and run them at a very expensive time during sporting events, for example. However, people with TiVos like me, we have the ability to skip through the commercials. The only time I watch television commercials is one day a year in the United States, which is Super Bowl Sunday. Every other day of the year, I skip through the commercials. I never watch commercials. That polarizes people. Ad agencies hate TiVo. TiVo owners love TiVo. Macintosh polarizes people. Great products and great services polarize people. I'm not telling you you should intentionally disappoint people, but I'm telling you that great products and great services polarize people. Not everybody will like it. That is okay. The worst case is people don't care. That is what you should worry about. Polarize people. The eighth thing is to churn, baby, churn. Churn, baby, churn means that you have to take version 1 of your application, version 1 of your innovation, version 1 of your software, and you have to churn it. You have to fix it. It becomes 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 2.0. This is the hardest thing to do as a revolutionary and an innovator. It's because to be a revolutionary and an innovator, you have to be in denial. Being in denial means that you refuse to listen to people who tell you it cannot be done, it shouldn't be done, and it isn't necessary.